Other people, good afternoon and welcome back to the Just Your Football Show. I hope you're all doing well. Apologies for being a little bit late. I was late jumping onto the presser, which means I was a little bit behind it actually finishing when you were all saying, "Where is he?" I'm like, well, you're on about presser's still ongoing, but obviously I wasn't watching it live. I was slightly behind. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all over the, well, you won't be over the transfer window yet. I don't think we'll be over it until we beat Coventry and maybe on the weekend against Millwall. Um, yeah, look, because all our opponents got stronger and we stood still. Farke, obviously, the press conference was dominated by questions on transfers. We'll talk about it. There was a few things I'm listening to. I'm like, my man's talking up Bamford now. He said he wasn't good. But you can't really. I mean, what's he going to say now that he can't bring any more new players in? Bamford's rubbish. I don't want to rely on him. He's going to have to use him, right? That's the frustrating thing. But ultimately, yeah, just little things like that. I'm like, fucking hell. Um, yeah, it is what it is. It's clear as day that he wanted replacements and he hadn't got them. Chris Wilder, on the other hand, at Sheffield United said, I want five. He got five, all of a sufficient quality. But listen, we do have a better squad than these. I get all that. I don't want to do it to death. We've done it. Yeah, exactly, Joe. That's what I mean. It is just standard PR stuff. Sort you bang on. Look, I was told when I was talking about the Armstrong stuff about 3 o'clock, I think it was, that we weren't actually interested in Armstrong. But it is frustrating to know that we struggled to get Archer, but West Brom got Armstrong in the last hour. It's just silly, in it? But hey, it is what it is. Let's get into what he said. So he said, look, I'm glad we can concentrate on football now. And I'll never comment on the details. Very quiet window for us. We can move on. In general, I think the main headline is that I trust my group. We're sitting after 2/3 of the league, top of the table. We are there with 63 points after 30 games. I don't see one reason why we can't finish in the top position. And I agree with that as well. And that's on him, right? That's on him now. He can't then say at the end of the season, we can, as fans, we can speculate. I can say, well, they didn't give him employers and that, but he's coming out now and sticking his flag to the mast, saying, look, I'm happy with it. So he's saying that, he's on record as saying that. So we moved, don't we? It is what it is. He said the world is becoming crazy on deadline day. 20 years ago, if you wanted suspense, you watched a James Bond movie. Now it's transfer deadline day with rumours. Probably the reason why we have to wait for the next James Bond. I'm not time for joking and laughing. He says it feels like the stock exchange. You either buy or sell. I don't think as a healthy position as a club you have to do it under pressure in the last hours. Sometimes if there is a late injury, you have to do something, but it's never a healthy position. I never like to do late business. He says, for me, we do it in a proper way. We do it with calmness, and we have to be 100% convinced and not overpay for prices. If we analyse the top leagues, and this is a fair point to him, Liverpool are top in the Premier League, have not done business. Bayern Munich haven't done anything. The Liga Spain, Madrid, no incomings. But again, I think Adam Poe passed him later on. It's fair enough saying that, but they've got bigger squads than what you have. We can't get away from the fact that we can't get away from the fact that we have the smallest squad in the league. And it's a surefire change from the 3 players he needed last week to now being happy, is what it is. He said, look, you can bring in signings. It's not a guarantee you'll be successful. I think that's fair. You need a bit of luck. I'm quite delighted. I have to say, once you're in the top position in the league, you always have 2 effects for the window. First is that your players attract other clubs. The second is it's difficult to improve your own squad. When you're in the spotlight, it attracts attention on your players. I think Mateo Joseph was the only one we're aware of. And again, that was pure PR from the football club. So he says it's important for us to block out the interest and sell one of our key players. There were a few approaches for our players, but we blocked it because we wanted to keep the core group. To hold together the core group was a key topic for us. And that is important, that we didn't lose any players, that's for sure. And I agree with you, Damar. Yeah, it's not just the 49ers. If Farke's happy, he's stuck his... Like Chris Wilder said, he wanted 5, he got 5. If he didn't get it, he'd have called them out. For a fact Wilder would have. Farke said, I'm happy. So if that's the case, just like with the Melier situation, if the keeper messes up, that's on the manager now at this point. Loan options. So we could have gone for some loans, as we've seen. Adam Armstrong go to West Brom, and we've seen Jayden Danns go to Sunderland. There's many things. He said, always difficult to improve our team if you're top in the table. In January, the options are limited. Second, sometimes a loan player is available, but which loan player would strengthen a team at the top? There's players out there. You just have to look at the opposition around us that have got loans that have got into their squad. I don't believe that line. There is a reason why he's available on loan. It means he doesn't belong in the core group for the Premier League side. Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. But like I say, Enzo Lafi's gone to Sunderland. Marcus Edwards has gone to Burnley. There are players out there. He said, if we're really honest, if a player doesn't make it in the top league, if he's playing after an injury, then it's difficult. Must be a big coincidence to find a player on loan who can strengthen. Well, we managed it with Solomon, didn't we? Perhaps top half of Premier League, but if a top team loans a player out, then it's about guaranteeing game time. How can we do that with the current squad? I don't ever want us to guarantee game time. I agree, but we've brought in loans previously at this stage of the season with Connor Roberts that everyone was happy with. In the summer with Solomon, and it's worked all right. No, Don, I'm not on a green screen, bro. I'm not. I'll show you for why, bro. I'm at my girlfriend's and I'm in her kitchen, bro. So it's just like, just looks better than a cupboard. Do you know what I mean? It's just the new iPhone update. Big up to you, my man, though. Big up to you. I hope you're well. And we'll be seeing you next season. Listen, the last 3 times that Liverpool have won the league, Leeds United have won the league. So make sure you win it and then we'll win our league. And I'll see you next season. How can we do that with the current squad? I do think there is players out there. There is a proper competition. If we just get a player on loan, you have to guarantee game time. We can't do this. To find a loan option who is really improving your squad and willing to come with lots of competition for game time is very difficult. The other option is to go from permanent transfers. We have explored this if there is an opportunity for this, but quite often they are overpriced and expensive. We're in a really good position. Not all the boxes were ticked, and that's why we didn't do any business. I just want to work for a club that is buying success or building success, and why the outcome is like this. I would never rule out a lucky coincidence at number 10, striker or centre-back, but it didn't turn out because we didn't find the right player or he was too expensive. I totally trust and back my players, and this group was good enough to be the best in the league so far. Gruev was out, Ampadu, my most important player, was out. I don't see why we should be scared for the final third of the season. We need luck with no injuries, especially in a few positions, but that is always the case. This is the scenario. I'm quite happy. The manager's saying he's happy, then crack on in it. But what I will say, I don't think we should be in a position where we need luck. We need luck. I mean, I guess every team looks, but if we lose the 10, we're up shit creeks. We don't have one. Shouldn't be having to rely on luck, would be my angle, considering we brought in the most in world football in the summer. So hey ho. But yeah, I agree with him. We shouldn't be scared for the running. 16 more games. Do I think we'll go up? Yes. Provided we don't get any major injuries. He was then asked about the striker position, and this is what started to get my back up, people, because he said, Adam Pope said, are you vulnerable in the striker position? Bearing in mind, he said he wanted one. He said, we have a striker who was outstanding in the last 4 years at this level. Okay, that's fair enough, Joel Pirro. I back him. It's cool. He has double figures right now. Never had a proper injury up until now. Touchwood, happy with Joel. Let's assume the rumours are right about Matteo. It shows he's a top player. And then he goes on to say, I like Bamford also. I was a bit unlucky. He was a bit unlucky in terms of injuries. I hope he will be back soon within our squad. So ultimately, we don't have a third striker option. You can talk that you like him, all right, great, but I mean, he's not available. He says he is such a great guy and a player who wants in his rhythm. How can he in 16 games get anywhere close to his rhythm? It's not happening. Farke says, my gut feeling is that he can play a major role in the running. I think you deluded, Daniel. And I love Daniel, but at this point, we have to call BS for what it is. We have 3 proper strikers we really trust. How can you trust a player that's not fit, who a week ago you said we can't rely on him? You said that. It came out of your mouth. So, how can you say that? We have 3 strikers we really trust. Well, you don't, because a week ago you said you don't. You basically said that without saying it. Nonto and Ramazani have also played in this role. Imagine, we're in a position where we're having to use Nonto and Ramazani in the 9. It'd be like playing James again. It's just not going to work. If there are many injuries, sometimes it makes sense to have another striker, but it could create problems with the current strikers. I don't care. Like Chris said, we're not Mighty Ducks. We're not Mighty Ducks. If someone gets the nose put out of joint, tough shit. That's it. You know. We have 3 proper striker options. I'm totally happy with them. We did stay away, but the headline is I trust my group. And again, back to everyone's point, it's on the manager now at this point, right? If he trusts them, then fair enough. Do I think the 49ers have let him down? Yes, but the manager says not. So, in terms of injury news, Patrick is the only one missing. I thought we could trust him, rely on him. Clearly, we can't. I don't know when that guy's going to be fit. Coventry, and to think that he's going to have a play in the running again, I think it's bullshit. He was asked on Coventry. He commended Mark Robbins. He said they're fighting for the top 6. They've made some good acquisitions. Frank is doing an outstanding job. He's top of the form chart. We'll do a preview for that in the morning. I'll get that dropped for you. Obviously, Leeds play Coventry tonight. There will be a watch along tonight as well of Burnley Oxford. I do have my daughter at football training between 6 and 7, and it's about a 40-minute drive, and the game kicks off at 7:45. So I might not make it for dead-on kickoff, but I'll be there like I was last night. I've just got to get my daughter to footy training. So, yeah, top of the form chart, many attacking options, flexible in their style. They are brave. We are aware of their strengths. Let's hope, Coventry go for it. But, yeah, everyone else is available, bar Patrick. But, we have to keep in mind the upcoming games. If we lose at Coventry, for a fact everyone will have a meltdown, myself included. Lose and a player injured, it's game over. Just hope. Joseph. He was asked on Joseph. I think the questioning was around, do you think this will help Joseph, the fact that he's scored and no other strikers come in? And he says, they always back my players. They want to be successful as a team. They know they can be successful as a team and have good options. I was a striker and you have to fight to get enough minutes. If another striker comes in, perhaps there's a few doubts. Sometimes you need that competition, but it can also be a little bit too much. We have to take decisions to be the success at Leeds United. The message is that we totally trust our players. Again, he's got to come out and say this, but it is what it is. Asked about other clubs, Joe, tomorrow we play Coventry. I know, Jody. Other clubs' transfers, he said, I never comment on business of other clubs. We have built the squad in a better way. Before we do a transfer, several boxes have to be ticked. I'm never involved in financial negotiations. I concentrate on what he delivers on the pitch. Recruitment have to decide if they are affordable or not. Sometimes it is yes. It depends on the individual situation. That's fine. On the number 10 position, which I find quite interesting because he was asked, will Brendan fatigue? Look, at the end of the day, Brendan just starts every single game. Yeah, every single game. He says fatigue, no, because Brendan can play every day. Yeah, he can, but he shouldn't. Sometimes he's around like a bee full of energy. I have to make sure the energy doesn't come out of his ears, make him relax a bit. Sometimes it is to channel his energy. What you can't predict is the possibility of a booking, yellow cards, not so much a topic with Brendan, but possibly an injury. But this is also why I spoke so open about if we think there's a player to give us another specialist, it turned out that not all boxes were ticked. So again, he wanted a 10. For whatever reason, he didn't get the 10. Aragon, chill out, stop being nice. I don't agree with what he said. You don't have to start throwing expletives out, bro. I don't agree with what he said. You do. Simple as. It's as simple as maths, mate. For me, you're saying Brendan can play every day. I don't think he should be playing every day. I love Brendan. I am one of his biggest advocates, but I don't think he should be playing every day. We have players who can perhaps shine in this role, adapt a bit the way we play. My big wish is Brendan stays full on in good shape and without injuries. So in other words, Brendan's my man and I hope he doesn't get injuries. He'll play every single game. I don't think that's good planning personally. I genuinely don't think that is good planning, but hey ho, it is what it is. Farke on being promotion favourites. The expectation is to win. That is, the ethos at Leeds United in the Championship. We have the best fans in the country, big name, history, tradition. Together with our supporters in the last more than 20 years, we're not able to celebrate with us. This is my biggest wish and challenge for us to celebrate promotion with supporters. Obviously, that was taken away from us with COVID last time. Big chance this season. Look, I'm still confident that we'll get through it. Goalkeeper, centre back, yeah, fair enough. But I just think in his position, brother, it's difficult. It's a lot of here's me, a lot of fast twitch fibers. Listen, I'm not a thing, but yeah, he's so mobile. He covers so much ground. Road on a goalkeeper, etc., who have more minutes than him. I think can be a little bit more chill. I think Bogle also has played as many minutes, and then they're the three that are above Brendan. But yeah, it's just a worry. But because, yeah, Rodon might play every game. Well, I was going to say we have a backup for him. We don't. It's James DeBayo. Madness. Farke on getting squad mentality, engaging squad mentality during the transfer window. Again, I didn't understand that. He says, when I want a 10, I don't go ask Brendan. But ultimately, players have to deal with it again. We're not mighty ducks here, are we? Asked about the game time of the subs. I don't think his subs have been bad, hence the most goals. The most goals over the. You are too pretty and kind to be riled. I'm not riled up, man. I genuinely don't understand why people think I'm riled up. You've seen me in worse positions than this. I'm not riled up, I promise you. So yeah, we're not giving gifts away, keeping everyone happy. I played Fairport left back. Byron wasn't happy, but it is what it is. It's all about team building, the activities. We also said, like, when players have come off the bench and scored, Nonto, Joseph, everyone was happy for them, right? So there is quite a tight-knit group. To be honest, in my predicament, and my predictions have been pretty bob on of late, I've actually gone for a 1-1 draw. I think we might draw the game away from home, which, to be honest, won't be a bad thing. Genuinely, it won't. But for a lot of people, they'll start questioning the manager again on the back of us just, beating a team 7-0. But it is what it is. They will go. I do think we'll draw. And it won't be because we didn't bring no players in a draw. I just think Coventry away will be quite a tough test for us. But I'm okay with that, a draw away from home ain't too bad. Especially when you consider the points gap. Mr. Dawes says 2 or 3-1. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. Farke on reacting to the 7-0 win again. Remember when I said to you yesterday, people say you need to keep your feet on the ground. I don't need to keep nothing on the ground. For me, I'm a fan. I enjoyed it. But he said I've got a good group, but they can't be overconfident. They know games like this don't come around very often. They know it won't be a walk in the park. Coventry sitting top of the form table. That's where he gets his man management and everything bob on, doesn't he? He has to make sure that they keep their feet on the ground. Managing the squad and Strauch. I think Strauch comes back in on Wednesday, do you? Strauch comes back in on Wednesday. Ampadu in midfield alongside Tanaka. And I think Firpo will keep his place just because he got 3 assists. Otherwise, he might have gone with Byron. But I think that'll be a lot. I think Strauch comes on Ampadu in midfield alongside Tanaka. He was asked if Pascal's ready to start. Well, we know that everybody's free, bar Bamford. But he says, Pascal ready to start, we will see. I think the 15 minutes were important for him. He's a key player, but I have to keep in mind he's been out for 3 weeks, so it's about the right moment to bring him back in. Maybe he won't, but I think he would, and we might see Ampadu and Tanaka in midfield. But listen, folks, that's it. I mean, not a great press conference. I thought he might have come out all guns blazing, but instead what he has done, he said, I'm happy. So if he's happy, then we have to accept that and let him crack on. But it's on his head, be it, just like the Melier situation. He can't then say, well, I did ask for a 10 at the end of the season, because he's come out now and accepted it. I'm not expecting him to sit there and go the 49th, but, he could have said, look, they didn't give me the player. They didn't give me the player. He said, I'm happy. The main headline is, I am content with my squad. Okay, go win it now. Which I think he will, by the way, but I'm just saying. Big love. Anyway, thanks as always for watching the Just Joe Football Show. I'm going to head off now. I'll go get my daughter at footy training, and then I'll see you for Burnley versus Oxford. Again, I might be a little bit late, but just do bear with me. Thanks as always for supporting the channel. Great 24 to 48 hours. And all Leeds away and all that jazz. Big up. Love you.